Before we get started, please do follow us on Instagram at Power Couples _movement, and also follow us on Facebook as Power Couples Diaries. So before we get started, last week we had a panel of men who discussed what do men want. So today I'm joined by these beautiful ladies who will share their views and perspectives on what do women want. So I would like them to introduce themselves and then we get right into it.
Do you want to start, Mrs.?
Hi, my name is Mrs. Marara Magoro, and I'm the founder of You Are Not Alone Foundations, and I've been married for 2 years and exactly 4 months.
Okay, hi fam. My name is Christy Tenga. I am owner of Ultra Vision Brand Activators, which is a below the line agency. I am currently single, so I can't really tell you the amount of years I've been married or in a relationship, so I'm currently single.
So yes, ladies, let's get into it. So when you get into a relationship or when you are looking, like what's the first thing that excites you or attracts you to a man?
For me, well, I'm not looking anymore, I've been found.
Yes.
But I think then, for me, I won't lie. The first thing was the looks. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say spirituality and all of that because those are things you get to know once you met the person.
Yeah.
So for me, it was honestly about the looks. And I remember when I met my husband, I was with her. Well, not literally with her then, but we were staying together.
Yeah.
And I came back and I said to her, I've just met somebody who is, I think this is gonna be my husband. Like, he just looked the part. Like, he looked like everything that I've always dreamt of, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll be very honest, number one thing for me was the looks. And then obviously when you get to know the person, then the personality, the character, then those are the things you fall in love with later on. But number one was, okay, is this the person I would love to look at every day of my life? So yeah, that's like number one thing for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would say the same thing, hey? Like, looks to me are very deep.
How will your children look like?
Because I want beautiful babies, like I don't want issues. So looks for me are very important. Well, obviously they say you attract what you want, so that person needs to be attractive. They need to attract me in order for me to actually even speak to them, I must say. So looks for me are very essential in a relationship.
Like your eyes must be caught
Yeah.
first before we even speak matters of the heart.
Exactly.
And, you know, values and goals and all of that.
Because imagine waking up next to someone and you're just like, oh my word, how did I get here? You know what I mean? It's very deep.
You look at your baby.
Even when you're going through a hard time,
Yeah.
you can't even look at him anyway.
The look can't console your emotions, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay, so the topic of today is what do women want in a relationship? Let's hear your views.
Okay, so what I want in a relationship is basically a God-fearing man. And a man that actually understands the kingdom of God and not actually just have a religious perspective on it, because our society is very religious about things. So I want someone that really understands who God is and who Christ is to him. And someone that is loving and pays attention to me and my needs. I'm very needy. I'm a very emotional person. So that person needs to understand the type of person I am. And also, I'm sure those who know me know that I'm very wild and loud. I'm sure you can also pick it, but I am. Like, I'm very out there, you know? So that person needs to be able to tame the lion. And I just want a man that is trustworthy. Stop knocking at me, but I'm being honest.
Yes, you are honest.
Like a man that is trustworthy and that actually is very family centric. Cause just want a man that's very family centric and loves me for who I am and as a provider, guys. As a provider, providing is very essential as well. So yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
I think, it's a very broad question, and I think you can actually categorize these things because that man must speak to my spirituality. That man must speak to my physical being. That man must speak to my adventurous being, you know. So it's very broad. So I think for me, I was actually sharing with someone recently that for me, I appreciate my husband now more because he allows me to be the woman that God has called me to be.
Yeah.
So for me, well, then when we started dating, it wasn't like the cutthroat, but I thank God that he, even though it wasn't major then, but I got what would matter now. You understand what I mean? Like I got what matters now, which is him allowing me to pursue that which God has called me for. So for me, that is the biggest love he can ever give me. Him allowing me to be the woman I am. Because had it been that he suppresses what God has put in me, I wouldn't be a happy woman. I wouldn't be happily married, as I said, you know. So like I said, it's very broad. So for me, the spirituality side of it takes priority. If he's a man who loves God, who's committed to God, that is number one. And the man who allows me to be the woman that I need to be. And obviously, I also need to allow him to be the man that God has created him to be. And the other thing is, I'm a very spontaneous person. Like Friday night, I'll think, babe, let's go sleep somewhere. Let's go do this. So I love a man who's spontaneous. And he's not always spontaneous. There are times where he's like, no, not this weekend.
Too much.
But I love adventure. So when you find somebody who can also complement that side of you, then it's amazing. And I mean, being with someone does not mean everything you're going to be compatible in every area. There are those things that you'll have to teach your person to say, listen, we should do date nights, we should do this and that, you know. So it's a very broad question. Like we can talk the whole night. But for me, I think number one priority is, can I be the woman God has called me to be around?
You know, I think we're the same, because you have to be, for me as well, you have to be a man of God.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm praying, then you need to also kneel down and pray with me. God has built marriage on prayer and communication with Him. So the Bible says that the church is the bride, you know, and obviously He is the groom. So you need to bounce off each other and pray together. I always say that you will find in many cases relationships where, especially women, go to church and they leave the husband behind.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. You can see that it's very hard. I always say that it creates a gridlock. A gridlock would be that now you're teaching your children with specific values, and you know, to pray whenever, like you teach your children about faith, basically. And here comes the husband who does not believe in God, who does not even follow the same values as you do. And that's why I always advise so many women that get someone who is like you, who prays with you. You know, whenever you go through something, you know, you can sit down with your partner and say, babe, there's something that I need to talk to you. And not be fearful to address your husband, you know. You need to create that space. So for me, when I started dating my husband, I looked for a man who is respectful. We come from messed up childhoods. And so, like, for me, respect was one of the most biggest things for me. And being a man that opens our heart. I mean, looking at our parents, they are taught to be stiff and hard. You know, you have this woman who is very, I don't know, Diego Baba kind of vibes. You know, I'll do whatever that my husband does. And then you have your father who is more uptight. You never speak about emotions. You never talk about how much you feel, like what you feel. You know, so like when I got into a relationship, I'm more like, you know what, I want a man that will share his thoughts with me. A man that will be open enough to tell me what's going on. I understand that men tend to play this role of, you know, being a hard, tough man. You need to find solutions. But I remember my husband and I would discuss this, because when we got married, like, he wants to find solutions, which is fine, but we are helpers.
That's true.
We are helpers. And being helpers is not that, people sometimes tend to think that being a helper is being a servant. We are not servants. you know, domestic, do things that are happening in the house to be domesticated, clean the house. No, we are helpers. So you need to lean on me.
Yeah.
You need to lean on me.
I think men have a tendency of, not really a tendency, but it takes time for them to get to that point where they really open up about how they feel.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes the responsibility of the wife to create that environment that allows your husband now to be able to open up to you. You know, because it takes, I don't know, maybe it differs with men, but I've found that it takes a bit of time for them to really, because men want to be seen as these strong people that have everything under control. So it's very difficult for them to be vulnerable, you know. So, but it's our responsibility
To create that
platform and that environment for them that allows them to know to let go and release and be able to
And feel
speak about
safe.
it and feel safe around you. Because our responsibility as wives is the same as that of the Holy Spirit. We are there to intercede for our husbands. We are there to console, to comfort, you know, to show direction where it seems like he doesn't know what to do, you know. So it takes a wise woman to allow that environment to be there in their home.
Yeah.
Because then you allow your husband to now come out and say, listen, babe, I think I need help with one, two, because it's difficult.
You'll even get the best out of him if you create that platform, you know. So yeah, and I guess our society has created a skewed perception on that, and it's very hard because what Talama wants or how Talama's relationship or whatever looks like is what I want, but you don't know the depth of that relationship. So I just think also as women, as a side note, we just really need to have the understanding and know the fundamentals and the foundation of our purpose in society.
And not be scared.
Yeah.
And not be scared, because I realized that you have people that are in relationships and don't even address their expectations. It's always, we'll see where this takes us.
That's the biggest mistake. I talk to single ladies and I say to them, communicate your expectations from the beginning. Have that conversation. I remember when I met with my husband, very first date we had, we spoke about what do you want out of this relationship? Like, where do you see the future? Are you dating now for just to push time, or are we dating to get married? And luckily or blessed enough, we were both in the same space where we are saying we are ready for marriage. So those conversations you need to have from the beginning. Don't leave them for later, because then he's gonna tell you, but what, you were not like this in the beginning. And not that you were not like that, but you never communicated. Then you have expectations which you never communicated about. So it's important that you're on the same page from the beginning. Tell him, listen, this is what I love, this is what I expect from you. And I know you're not gonna get it right all the time, and you're not gonna get it right from the beginning. You know, there are those things, you know, we talk about languages of love. Those are things that you will not get immediately when you get into a relationship. And it takes also a wise woman to be patient with the man, because it will not come automatically or right when you start off. There are those things that you'll have to work on. You'll have to understand that, okay, Percy loves flowers. Okay, I need to learn to buy flowers. I need to learn to take her out for dinner. I need to learn to take her out for movies. But us as women as well, we need to be patient. These people are not robots. These people, some of these things, they're not inbuilt. It's things that they must learn to say, okay, this is the kind of woman I married. So it takes me as the wife, I need to understand the kind of men I'm married to. He needs also take time to understand the kind of woman we're married. That way, he's able to now adjust himself to what I love. I'm able to now adjust myself to what he likes. Then that way we can work around, because like the older I was listening to Creflo Dollar some other time, and he said that in a relationship, be more concerned about what your partner wants. And your partner must now be more concerned about what his partner wants. Then that way, both of you are concerned about each other. Then we are not now pointing fingers that you didn't do this for me, you didn't do that for me, because now we have both met each other's needs. But those things take time to build. And I think that sometimes also as women, we are not patient enough with men. We are very impatient. We want things to be done.
Happen now.
You're not doing this. I told you I need this. yes, he hurt you, but he's not going to change over time. It takes time. You found this man 30 years after.
Exactly.
And you want him to now
Change
start
habits of
change
30 years
habits
now.
of 30 years
Yeah.
in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think that as women, yes, we want all of these things, and it's good that we need to communicate them, but also have the patience that this person will grow into it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, to what Lulu was saying, that society has kind of messed us up because, you know, when we were a young girl, your parents would buy you dolls, and you know, you have this idea of what marriage should look like, this fairy tale, you know.
Yeah.
So when we get into relationships, we get into it with the hopes of getting those things that we've imagined.
Yeah.
And that's why when usually what they say, that a wedding is for the woman. It's not really for the man. It's just to make her happy, basically. It's to basically complete what she's been dreaming about, or fulfill what she's been dreaming about all these years. So I just feel like, I was telling my husband, now that we have a son, that as he grows up, it's very important to also teach him what is it to be a man. And being a man does not mean that you just always have to find solutions. You know, if you feel something in your heart, you need to voice it out. You don't have to keep it to yourself and try to find solutions. And that's how people get depressed. You find men that are depressed in their marriages because they're worried about finances. How am I going to buy this? And she wants this, and she wants. How about just saying, babes, I think we should wait on this project. What do you think we should do to work together and get to this point? So now you're being this tough guy, you're so stressed at home, you're stressed at work, you're just thinking about solutions, forgetting that, hey man, you need to just reach out and talk to your spouse. You know, so I think to what you're saying, society has a way of trying to, I don't know, it has poisoned us.
We don't have the right foundation anymore. We don't understand what the Word of God says in the original plan. And that's why it's so chaotic. That's why like relationships are failing, marriages are failing, you know. Sitting with you guys and hearing you guys talk about your marriage, it's like it's amazing because you hardly hear it. Because everyone is just like, is this even possible? Like relationships are very like nonchalant right now. Like people don't understand what they want, who they are, because they just want what society wants for them, and then everything's just skewed. So the more we talk about these things, the better. Where people, you actually self-introspect and say, you know what, I see everything, the messes and everything that's happening on social and the pressures and etc. But does Percy actually want this? Is this what Percy actually wants for her life? Instead of taking what Murana wants for her life to make it my own story. And that's how we actually understand what women actually want. You understand? That's how we're actually going to find what women actually want. Not because of what Mara wants, but because of what I want and what God actually instilled in me and in my heart.
And I also think that the world has also sort of like taught us not to love fully.
Yeah.
It's always that thing that, yes, you're dating, but you need to have option B in case this doesn't work out. So now you're not entering into a relationship fully and saying, I'm committed.
I don't agree. Yeah, it's a very fully. It's hard for people like us that get hurt because we invest fully, you know?
And it could be, you find that it's one-sided.
Yeah.
So you could be investing fully, putting it out there, saying that, you know what, I love you and this is who I am.
Yeah.
But you find that the other person is just like, okay, I'm just gonna put 80% in this relationship. Because I'm not really sure whether it's gonna work out or not.
Yeah.
So now the society has taught us not to fully love someone completely. And I mean, love is a risk. You need to put yourself out there to experience the fullness of it.
The problem is, how do you expect 100 if you're giving 80?
Exactly.
How do you expect that? The equations don't equate, like they don't equal. Like how do we become people like that? Like give 80 when the other person is giving 100. How do you pass the test?
Because the thing is, for me, what I've learned over the years is that when you get into a relationship with someone, a man can quickly tell if this is going to be my wife or not.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
thing, I'm
still
still
testing things out.
I'm still just thinking. I want to know.
And when we know, we know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, a man knows from
Yeah.
the beginning when
Yeah.
he meets you first or second date, he can tell is this going to be my wife or not. If he starts saying no, we are just, we are
Just
still
testing
testing the
things
waters.
out. It's
You
not the
must
one.
know, just know that this
Waste
guy
of
is
time.
special. Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's like maybe it's different for other people, but from what I've learned and experienced and seen, they know from the beginning.
Yeah.
With my husband, I'll refer to that because that's what I know. With him, like day one, from our very first date, we started talking about marriage. We met in Feb. By July, he was ready to engage me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it doesn't, if the man is matured and he knows what he wants, it shouldn't take him that long to know if this is the woman for what he wants or not. It's never the case. So if he's still girl,
Pack your bags, girl, and leave.
it doesn't take
You know what I
time.
fail to understand is how do men really suss out if this person is the one? And what are you meant, like how do they then compare? Or is this the person? Maybe no, this person is not the one. You comparing them based on what?
It's a difficult one to answer for them, but I think men are driven by values. And when I say values, I mean there are things he values in his life. Besides you, the woman who's coming into his life, there are things that he values in his life. It could be his family, it could be his mom, it could be his parents, it could be his work. So this is my understanding. It could be that when he sees Percy, he's like, okay, will Percy fit in with my mom? Will Percy fit in with my family? Will she fit in with my business? It depends on what he values the most. So for me, I feel that that's where they assess. Will this woman fit into my family? And I'm telling you, family, parents, that's number one. It's usually my mom. It's usually my sisters. Will this person fit in there? And then the rest will follow. So that's my understanding. I mean, there are obviously a lot of other things that they probably look at, but I feel like what they value the most is what they will use to assess whether you will fit into their lives or not.
That's actually second that. Yeah.
Wow! But I mean, it differs for everyone.
But it's true though, because I remember Gamo also said the same thing, where he said, you know, Talama, you are loud, but man, you fit so perfectly with the family. You know, so that clearly was his value, is what he valued so much. I mean, I'm the loudest in the family. I'm still trying to keep it together. Yeah, I'm the loudest in the family. And hey, my mom-in-law, I think when she saw the kind of person that I am, and because I was so loud and my character is literally out there, and Gamu comes from a very quiet side of family, man. They're very reserved, unless if they're just sitting amongst themselves, then yeah, you hear, but they're not loud. So I came in this family and came when you know makeup, you know, with hair and leaves and it's just so plain. You never see my sister look at makeup. It's only now. But like she never puts makeup. Vaseline, dreadlocks. It was so relaxed, you know. I remember my mom-in-law was sharing with us. You know, when Kamala told us that we need to have this girl, I was really worried. Who do you know? Oh, you matata. I just saw problems. But you know, I guess when she started getting to know me better, she got to see, oh, actually she's not that bad. You know, yes, she's a very happy person. I think I am. Yeah, like we're so loud and we're so happy, and you know, so so when Kamu and I dated, I started dating Kamu. Well, God knows we were 21. I was 21 and he was 25. So I remember saying this to Kamu and I said, hey, I'm not gonna waste any time with you. You need to tell me if are we gonna do this we will not date for more than 2 years. And I was very clear on that. I said, if we were to date for more than 2 years, then I'm not for you. Because I'm not gonna wait. What are we doing for those 2 years? Because we're gonna end up fooling around, and then you're messing up with your ministry. And so I had to say, you know what, this is who I am, these are my values, this is who I am. I'm a worshiper, I'm in the worship team, I serve the Lord with all my heart, including my temple as well. So I will not compromise who I am just because of the word love.
You know what? It's something that young ladies need to be aware of. Because when you meet someone, you need to know who you are. That way you are able to now stipulate your expectations. Because now, what are your expectations based on? If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what God has called you for, then what are your expectations based on? But then when you know who you are and you know the calling of God over your life, then everything else now comes to support who you are and what God has called you for. Then your expectations come to support who you are and what God has called you for. Because like you're saying that you told him I'm a worshiper. You knew who you were. You knew what God has called you for. Therefore your values and what you expect that man to, the way you expect him to treat you must support the calling of God over your life. So as when I'm single, it's time for me to know who I am. Then use that time to know who you are. Then that way, when the man comes, you now assess, well, this man allowed me to do my Yana stuff. Will this man allow me to still be the worshiper that I am? And if you can't support those things,
why are you compromising yourself? You know, then that's how people lose themselves, because you compromise. I find that the reason why things don't work out is because people compromise a lot, because they compromise because they don't have an understanding of who they are. I've been a victim of that, of my own sorrows, because you know sometimes you have, like you were speaking earlier, we have this facade and this fairy tale that is pictured in our heads, and obviously, like they say, if you come from a family that is not well put, or like your parents were not together, you have this family idea and you bring it onto this person, and it's an expectation and a void that person can't fill, and you expect that person to fill, and when he doesn't fill it, you just, and everything crumbles down, just like, but why? You fall into depression, but why? But it's because you don't firstly understand who you are, like you guys saying, and what God called you to be, and actually understanding what I want as a person, you know. I just find that a lot of times we like raising a fairy tale in our heads. Yes, we can say you need to be founded and understand who you are, but to be realistic, a lot of people don't know who they are. So how do we deal with such things, you know? But that's another topic for another day. But yeah, I just feel like expectations are created from grassroots, from as you're a child. Yeah, so you just need to really understand that it's actually what you want, so that also you don't lead that person on for decades and years, and actually when you're in marriage, find who you are, and then that person just like, but no, that's not what I signed up for. You know, that's why you need to know who you are before you even get married or even commit to a relationship. And I had to learn the hard way, you know, and that's how so yeah.
But you know, expectations don't just end when you're getting to know each other. I think it also continues even in your marriage. I remember, my husband would not address something. He thinks that maybe, just brushing me and like, I'm sorry, but he's not addressing the issue.
Not dealing with the core.
So things like, there's other things you should sleep without addressing the problem. You should address it. And other things just come so easily. Everything just so flows easy. Even when you make love, it's easy. Because there's you don't but you know that you're giving off yourself 100%. There's no thought, oh my gosh, like this man, like what he said earlier, this and this and this. You need to address those issues and be heard, and make sure that you acknowledge what you guys, like what you are saying to your spouse. if I have to bring something up to my spouse, I know that he will acknowledge it. He might not really agree completely with what I'm saying, but he can say, okay, I hear your point and I receive that.
I think you touched on like in marriage that as couples when we go to bed angry at each other. I have a different view to that, but it's a topic for another day. I just have mixed feelings with that. But I think I love what you said that even when you get into marriage, you still have expectations. And I think it's a topic that we've discussed a lot about expectations, where it's not about the love relationship only. Even in friendships, you have expectations. Whatever relationship there is in the world, there's a certain level of expectation.
Yes.
Even your relationship with your boss. There's a level of expectation. You have an expectation that this is my boss, this is how I expect him to treat me, this is how I expect him to handle himself as a boss. So those expectations will always be there. Even when you get into marriage, I as a wife, I expect my husband to be a provider.
Yes.
It's an expectation I have on him. And he also has expectations that this is my wife, she must respect me. Those expectations never end. Even when you get into marriage, you will still have those expectations. But for me, the biggest thing is be patient with the expectations. Be patient with them because they're not going to happen overnight. Marriage, when you get into marriage, you work on it.
Yeah.
You work on it as you go. Things get better as you go. The arguments that I used to have with Rendani when we were dating, they're not necessarily the arguments we have now because some of the things you outgrow them. So some of us, we let go in the process of growing.
Yeah.
Then that way we don't see the results of what we've been working on. Because we were in the middle of, working on this thing and then I give up. And then
How do you
and
better
then what?
yourself?
But now I can sit as a proud wife and say, you know what, I'm glad I was patient with my husband. Look at the product now. Look at the outcome of it, So expectations will not always be met.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. They will not always be met. And I think it depends on you as a woman that what is your cut-off? Like in terms of your expectations, what are those things that I'm willing to compromise on and what are those things that I can live without? It's okay even if it doesn't buy me flowers. It's okay even if it doesn't really take me out every Friday. So those expectations I think they must have, I don't know what's the English word? Like they must have.
Isn't it a word?
No, but what I'm trying to say is, you must manage your expectations and be aware, Uri. It's not all of them that will be able to meet. And he's a human being, guys. He's a human being as much as you are also a human being. So don't put this huge, like people always say that don't have expectations that you yourself can meet yourself. You can't do that for yourself. You're expecting this guy to take you out for holidays to do this. You can't even do that for yourself. And sometimes we expect things and not do the same for him. You understand what I mean? It's not Rendani's responsibility to always take me on holiday. I can do that, I'm working. You understand what I mean? So sometimes we have these expectations on people or on your partner and you are not willing to even do that for him as well. That's selfish.
Yeah, very.
So this thing is very broad.
It's very broad. I think you need like a whole day talking about it.
But guys, you heard it from us. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and to follow us on Instagram. And please, please, please subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.